what ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Think Big podcast. Today's an amazing day. Every day is an amazing day. Anytime you wake up, we got caught off guard. Marlon wasn't supposed to be here today, but here he is, the man himself. We have myself, Alejandro Alvarez, Sam Singh, Mr. Marlon himself. How are you guys doing today, man?
Bro, I'm feeling amazing. This is such a good day today. How are you guys doing?
Why is it a good day?
Sam, how do I get one of those sweaters? That's really dope. Is this like some Sam Singh apparel? Like, because it's got Sam Singh vibes.
This is too visual for me already. I just realized like how many there's like a thing here and a thing there and a thing there, and I'm just like, there's a lot of things going on. But why is today a good day, Marlon? What's been going on with you today?
I woke up, bro. I woke up. Like, real talk. Not for real. Like, on the real, we speak about having gratitude all the time, and a lot of people, it's just lip service to having gratitude and to thinking about where they're at. But I took an audit on my life, as I regularly do, to be honest. And I just looked back, and I looked and said, whoa, real talk. Today, I'm coming from a place of privilege. I'm healthy. I'm able to pursue my dreams. I'm able to pursue my goals. I have people in my life that are pouring into it, that are really, they're multipliers. They're force multipliers, not vampire suckers. I know where I want to go. I have direction. I have a North Star. I have the drive to get up and go do it. And I have breath in my lungs, and I can still wiggle my toes and my fingers. I mean, seriously, what else could I possibly ask for? And so with that on the top of my mind, I just feel grateful today, bro.
I love to hear it, man. I love to hear it. You know what? It's funny. There's how you approach life is a choice, right? The things that happen to you may not always be a decision that you make, but how you respond to everything is a decision that you make. And so for you to be able to operate that way, that's amazing, man. I'm glad to hear it. Alejandro, what about you, brother? How are things in the back cave?
Things in the back end, man. Just always have, every time you have a new solution, which is part of business, new fire comes up, and you have fun, a new solution to that, then a new fire comes up. But I love every part of it, man. You know, as long as like finding a solution, it gives you a better purpose to improve yourself, because there's always something ahead of you that's going to be better than you, based off the knowledge and the experience you have. So you get an opportunity to continue growing based off the failures you have per day. So I'm always super grateful, man. Then I come to hang out with you guys afterwards.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Okay.
What about you, Mr. Sam?
Dude, I'm on fire today. I've been on fire this entire past week, and a lot of people, they took Thanksgiving weekend off to be with family and be with loved ones, and probably more accurately just go on a shopping spree for Black Friday, and that's totally okay. For me, I really kind of took that time to be. I took the time to have the excuse of no one bothering me to really work on the business, and we've unlocked so many new levels. Marlon and I spoke about this the other day. And we've unlocked so much clarity, and I'm so grateful for that. You know, I think there's people who chase growth, and I'm one of those people as well. But I think there's a level of me that is starting to chase clarity, because every time you get clarity, I feel like growth comes from clarity. So I'm super stoked. But today, it's going to be an interesting topic, man. It's going to be slightly negative, and negative in the fact that we have to talk about it. Negative in the fact that it's even an issue. But we have to talk about it. And we're basically going to talk about scams in the real estate niche, right? We're going to talk about scams that are prevalent, that are common, that are showing up. And I want everyone here to be aware. And we're not really going to hammer away at one specific human being. We're going to talk about one anecdotally, one that's very fresh, and that's why we're going to talk about it. But we want newbies and newer investors to understand the scope of the world around them in entrepreneurship, and especially in real estate investing. And the issue is that there is another scam being born every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. And it's always perpetuated by the same type of person. So before we get into that, I want to start with this. If anyone here watched Wholesale Hotline last night, if you haven't, after this, we're going to talk about it here, so you guys get a ton of context, and I want you to go watch Wholesale Hotline after. right? In the comments in the Wholesale Hotline, go and say that you're coming from the Think Big podcast with the three brown boys. But when you go watch that, what's going to happen is this: you're going to see an individual come onto a Wholesale Hotline and basically pitch a new strategy, a new idea, a new method of real estate transacting. And our, people who we look up to, who are mentors and friends to us, guys like Pace Morby and Jamil Damji, were there to be students and learn this new method from this individual. And within about 5 minutes, it became very clear that the method is A, not new. The method is B, not revolutionary. And most importantly, the method is risky and it hurts people involved. And rightly so, instead of playing a hyper political game of glad handing and, mitigating the PR issue, Pace and Jamil specifically took an extremely righteous road, in my opinion, and called a spade a spade. And what this person is doing is, was doing, is basically they've taken a very minute real estate strategy that is very, very, very rare. I mean, very few people ever do this. Even high level guys very rarely do this strategy. And they are basically trying to teach newbies that this is a viable way of transacting. And I'm not going to get into the nuances of it, but it's basically just a form of creative financing. And there's all these ways to do this specific type of transaction. And the way that they are trying to, quote unquote, pioneer or bring awareness to is the riskiest there ever could be. It puts so much risk on the seller. It puts so much risk on the wholesaler. It puts so much risk on anyone who potentially buys a deal after the fact. And Pace and Jamil did a phenomenal job showcasing that no matter what platform you're on, because Wholesale Hotline is a massive platform in our industry, it gets tons of eyeballs, thousands and thousands of viewers. And to use that platform to basically pitch an idea that is A, experimental, and B, not very well thought out, and C, hurts almost everybody involved, I am actually proud to say that the guys that we look up to, Pace and Jamil, did the righteous thing and called it out for what it is. And here's the big kind of thing that was prominent with that. Jamil, about halfway through, became very agitated with the fact that they were even having this discussion, and this person was using the platform that they built to try to do this. And he called it for what it was. He said, hey, is this a course that's being sold for $5,000? Yes or no? And is that why you were here? Person says yes. And then it's done. At that point, the tone shifts, it changes. It is no longer seeking to understand what the reasoning is behind the method. The reality is we understand what's happening. And this is symptomatic of this industry, folks, is that as the market shifts, as interest rates come up, the market slows down, or the market goes up, it doesn't matter. Every 5 minutes, there's going to be a new guru with a new product to sell. And these products very often are fringe. They're very much playing in the weeds and trying to make something that's so fringe and rare and not going to happen consistently. And they're going to make a product around that and try to brand themselves as being the person who's going to teach it. And here's a critical issue with this, guys. And this is what Pace and Jamil did a phenomenal job showcasing. They asked him very, very pointedly over and over and over again, how many of these have you actually done? And can you prove that you've done them successfully without hurting everybody involved? And this person, unfortunately, could not stand by that. So I want people to be very aware of is that, guys, it is easier than ever before in life, in history, to make money. The internet is phenomenal. Social media is a game of marketing. Anyone can be phenomenal at being a quote unquote investor who's done hundreds, if not thousands of transactions on Instagram. And very often they're required to show proof. They're not required to show proof. So it's a very interesting thing. And all these guys are putting a $5,000 course around this. And I'm not hating on courses. I actually think courses are fine if done right. My issue that I want to have and I want us to talk about very openly here is when people who have done less than 50 deals ever decide to take an extremely fringe topic and to make a course around something very rare and to teach new investors this is the way you should do it. I want newbies to be aware that right now, as a new investor, I'm going to give you guys some keywords that marketers and influencers use because guys, like I'm a marketer. I understand how to market on social media to get more deals and to get employees and to get private capital, right? I understand the game of marketing. I understand the game of social media. You guys want to know truly what investors think of what these marketers, these gurus, these fake gurus will actually view new investors as an evergreen pool of people to monetize on. It is very rarely with you in mind. It is very rarely to help you. It is almost always to take advantage of the goodwill and good faith that new investors naturally have, and also some of the naiveness, like the naivete that new investors will have based on real estate transacting as a whole. And they will seek to exploit that by coming up with these asinine strategies that make no sense to someone who is super advanced, but to someone who knows nothing about anything about real estate yet, this just sounds revolutionary and it sounds mind-boggling. It sounds so confusing. And I wrote it down, and Pace said this. He said a phrase I've never heard before, and I think it's fantastic. And he said, the problem with a lot of these gurus is they will muddy the waters to make you think it's deep. And that is very, very true. And right here, very, very real statement. The scary part was that they didn't even know all the nuances of the transactions that they were trying to sell a $5,000 course on, and had to have it taught to them by Pace Morty. This is the danger that we're in, guys. And it's not about the $5,000. Like, I don't even want to make it about that. I want to make it about the fact that in real estate investing, guys, we are dealing with sellers who are usually in distressed situations, who are putting a lot on the line, trusting you as a new investor to do right by them in their financial situation. And just so you guys know, this strategy that was being taught was very heavy in foreclosures. The target distress was foreclosure, people who are in foreclosure situations. So we have sellers whose credit is on the line, their financial security is on the line. And I want everyone here to understand that. I get it. Guys, we all got into this industry to make money. Marlon makes money doing real estate. Alejandro makes money doing real estate. I make money in real estate. We do wholesales. I'll be the first to admit, I've even sold a couple bad deals, right? But some buyer, it made sense for them, and then it worked for everyone involved. But the reality is we need to understand and really internalize that, yes, while we are in this game to make money, there is collateral damage. There are side effects to how you make your money in this industry and in the world of entrepreneurship. If your money is predicated upon only risk to others, it's probably not an ethical way to make money. If your way of making money is to have all this risk that you just then arbitrage to the seller and the seller alone, and you're the only one with the upside, and there's no ramifications for it, that is dangerous. And this is exactly why wholesaling as a micro industry is being regulated so heavily across the country. There is a war on wholesalers, right? Is it going to be banned? Probably not. But is it going to be regulated? Absolutely. And it probably should be, because there is an extremely low barrier to entry. The danger that you all have right now as newer investors is that you're going to get on YouTube University and you're going to find all these freaking gurus who are teaching some new nuanced strategy that is so freaking in the weeds that they themselves can't even explain it properly, but it sounds so complicated, and right, they've muddied the waters to make you think it's deep. So what I want everyone to be aware of, right? I'm not speaking against coaching. I'm not speaking against courses. I'm actually an advocate for them. I spend over $100,000 a year in mentorships and masterminding, in just coaching alone. I have coaches that I spend 25 to 50 grand on yearly just for me to get coached by them. I'm a massive advocate for it. What I don't want is I don't want people to invest their money, that especially for you new investors who don't have a ton to come into the game with. Invest your money in all these new experimental ideas. Guys, is real estate investing new? Is it something that just was born 5 years ago? It's been around forever. Creative financing is hundreds of years old. It's been around for an extreme, probably from the dawn of time, there was creative ways to trade commodities and goods and services, right? We don't need more unique, new, experimental, fringe, risky shit in the industry. What we actually need is more of the best practices taught by the best voices. And it doesn't mean that there's not great gurus and coaches and mentors who will rise and who will come to the table, right? I think the people on this podcast are going to be some of the biggest leaders, not just in real estate, but in entrepreneurship, period. And I think they're going to have an amazing impact on the world. Like, I think Marlon is going to go down as one of the greatest mindset coaches of all time. That is a season he will achieve, and he's on his way of achieving it right now, right? But the problem right now is that there's other guys talking about mindset who don't know jack shit about mindset. Their goal is to funnel you into a community so they can extract the most money out of you, so you can spend the last bit of money that you have on them, so they can extract every dollar possible and then leave you in a place financially that's worse than you were before. And then guess what's going to happen to your mindset after that? It's going to happen a lot worse. Your mindset's going to be absolutely screwed. So right now, guys, in the world of, let's just take wholesale, for example, there is not a single individual who has his hands in more wholesale single family transactions in the country than Jamil Damji. In the world of creative financing, when we're talking about sub-2 seller financing, novations, hybrids, there's not a single person and a single individual. There's hedge funds out there that they play with billions of dollars, sure. But there is no single person who is better at creative financing and teaching it than Pace Morby. This is an undeniable fact. So instead of investing your time in the most fringe characters who are trying to showcase that they are the kings of some revolutionary bullshit, let's not create new and experimental. Let's actually double down on the things that we know. One of my favorite quotes from Hormozi is, we don't need new, we need more and better. And the reality is more and better go hand in hand. So that is what I want people to focus on. Before I go any further, guys, I've been hogging the mic for a while now. Is there anything you guys want to say so far? And please let me know if I'm just being too hardcore on this, because I know I'm pretty aggressive with scams.
No, I think you're coming at it from this is a conversation that needs to be had. What I'm curious to know is two things. One, because I agree with you, courses, coaches, mentorships, just like you, we all have dropped a lot of money on courses, coaches, and mentorship, and it's absolutely changed our lives. However, I'd be lying if I didn't say I've invested into some crappy courses and some crappy mentorships and straight up, I've wasted money, because that was how I felt after I bought some things. So it's like this, I would not choose to pay for this again. And so with that being the case, I want to know, what are you doing to vet? How are you identifying in a world where we've got every person on Instagram claiming to be doing it bigger than the next? Everybody on Facebook is like the next best thing. They are the solution to every problem that you and your kids and your great grandkids are ever going to have. How are you figuring out, before you step into their door, before you step into their kingdom and realize it's being held up by popsicle sticks and cards, how do you know who's worth it and when to walk away?
I love that. Yes, absolutely, guys. We're all, the three of us are massive advocates for coaching and mentorship, right? Like, I am constantly paying for coaching. I believe it is the quantum leap. The problem is, in the beginning, it is very hard to learn how to spot a guru a mile away. It is very difficult to see the bullshit of marketing, right? And make no bones about it, guys. Marketing is powerful. All three of us are really good at marketing, right? But marketing is an extremely powerful tool that can be used ethically and unethically. So, like Marlon, I have invested in things that I regret. I am very, very, very reserved on the things that I will ever promote. And the things that I ever promote on any of my social media are the things that I have actually poured a ton of my own money into. And my barometer, actually, fun fact, is I won't promote anything unless I've spent at least $50,000 of my own money into it. and have seen a return on it that I believe in. Because if I haven't spent at least 50 grand in something, I haven't used it enough to make sure it's actually worth it. I don't have data. But one thing that I want to talk about is that. So I love that question. How do we see through the muddied waters, right? How do we make those waters clear? The reality is this, guys. I believe there is a new wave coming. And I believe this wave is being ushered in by people like Pace Morby, by people like Jamil Damji, by people like Alex Hermosi in general business. And it is the wave of people showing up and proving that they are about what they say they're about. And I want to take an example of that. I want to take Pace, for example, and he proved this live. How do we know that Pace is arguably one of the best, if not the best, creative finance experts in real estate? Let's just say that. You can go to any one of his YouTube videos, go to his description, and there is actually a drive folder that he constantly uploads HUDs into. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of HUDs, settlement statements of transactions that have successfully closed. And what you can do, and he actually invited people to do this last night, and I loved this as a saying, or as a proving point. Go look at my HUDs. The title companies are there. Their names aren't blurred. Go call them and go verify that transaction went well and it didn't blow up. He even says, my private money lender's information's there on those HUDs. I didn't block them out. Go look them up. Go contact them. Go see, have I scammed them or have I taken care of them? And this is how we do it. We actually look for proof. And I think there's this kind of awkwardness that new people have where they don't want to ask people for proof. Ask for proof, right? Marlon, one of your best friends out there is the amazing Caroline Kane. And she has one saying, right? Like if you don't have HUDs, you're a dud. So how do we prove success in real estate? We get HUDs, guys. We get HUDs. We get settlement statements proving that we do the damn thing. So for new people, before you ever decide to even think about pulling out your card to pay someone, especially for some weird tactic or strategy, I want you to do exactly what Pace did last night. I need you to show me HUDs, enough HUDs that you've been doing this for. You've done it in enough volume. You've been doing it for enough time. And I can verify that you've successfully transacted this method, this strategy over a long enough time period. If you can't do that, hey, nothing against you. It doesn't mean that you're a scam artist that you're not willing to give me HUDs, right? That's not the case. But I'm going to take that as data on whether or not I'm going to trust you to do this. Now, when we look at let's just say mindset, right? Something a little bit more abstract, right? It is easy for me to prove real estate success with bank accounts, with HUD statements, with properties that I own. You can look up my name. I mean, on Think Big, I was really big on giving out addresses to properties that I own, and then YouTube gave me a strike for it, which was kind of not so fun. But let's just look at mindset and mindset coaching. How do we verify growth? How do we verify that a coach is actually worth their salt? You look at guys like Marlon, you look at guys like Keston, who's a good friend of ours. Look at the amount of people they've helped. The success speaks for itself. Very often, the people who speak their own successes aren't actually very successful. It's actually one of the most phenomenal things out there. Success leaves clues. We just want you guys to find out what those clues look like. So if you're investing in a flipper, right? Someone who's going to teach you how to flip. Great. How many flips are they doing? Have they done? How many flips are they doing right now? Because right now we have this massive epidemic of people who did shit 20 years ago in a different market, and they're trying to sell a course right now. And it's completely not worth anything. If it's buying rentals with creative finance, cool. Go verify the HUDs. Go verify that they actually own the properties. If they're not willing to show you that stuff, it's not a problem. Doesn't mean that they're lying. It just means that you may want to go look for someone else who was actually willing to prove that they are what they say they are.
Sam, let me throw something in there because I want to give everyone permission. You just gave them permission, but I really want to make sure they heard this. It is okay to trust, but still verify. And that is, like you said, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have in the very beginning when you're talking about, hey, this person is telling me this is what they've done. I'm brand new. I'm just out the gate. And, I'm seeing also shout out to Ryan Zolan. Like I'm seeing a guy like Ryan, like here's the interesting thing. And Ryan's a perfect example of this. If you were brand new and you met Ryan at a meetup, or you were thinking about joining into his community, and you said to him, "Hey, Ryan, I'm thinking about joining. I'm a little nervous, though. I heard that there are people out here scamming in the marketplace about what they can teach and what they can do. Would you feel comfortable showing me some evidence about what you've done?" In your mind, you're thinking he's going to freak out on you. A guy like Ryan, a guy like Pace, a guy like Sam Alejandro, they're going to have no problem saying, "Yeah, that's a really valid question." I also vet the people I work with, because anyone that you bring into your world as a mentor, as a coach, as somebody that's going to help you get to the next level, that's a partnership. I don't care what you say. That's a partnership in my eyes. Your mentor is the first person on your leadership team, on your power team. And so for you to vet your partners, there's nothing wrong about that. And if somebody gives you any pushback about that, please identify that as a red flag. Identify it as a red flag immediately. And it's okay to say, "You know what? I feel uncomfortable with this situation. I'm going to keep looking for somebody else." Don't settle, because there are true performers out there. There are people who will open up the gates and they will show you everything. However, if you find people that are being gatekeepers, they're guarding, they don't want to show you what's happening underneath the hood, that's not the person that you need to be learning from, period. So I just want to reiterate, you have permission to vet your gurus. All right, Sam, I'm passing it back to you.
I love that, man. And shout out to Ryan Zolan. Ryan Zolan's an amazing friend. Someone that I unfortunately don't get to talk to enough, but I remember Ryan, I had him on the podcast, The Origin Story. And he and I, we had probably did an hour-long podcast, and then we probably stayed after for 2 hours. And funny enough, all we talked about was the lack of ethics and integrity that we were seeing as young up-and-comers in the industry. So Ryan's a guy who is actually about what he says is about. Thank you for being here, brother. But I want to say it's like Christian, right? Christian Hernandez, who crushes deals in Southern California, absolutely crushes deals. A lot of creative finance transactions under his belt. Says, I asked a buyer and a guru for a previous address he bought or LLC he's using to buy, and I got blocked. And it's like, guys, this is the reality. This is the reality of the space. And I want to start giving some intake, right? And some insights, some Sam's insights. It's gonna be a new segment. So I want to give you guys some takes on how to spot people who are essentially full of shit and who aren't. I'm going to be completely honest. There's, in the world of social media content production, if you guys didn't know, putting out social media content is not easy to streamline. It is not. Marlon, do you think it's super easy to do over and over and over again, to be consistent with putting out edited reels and content over and over again when you're actually running a high-level business on the side?
Dude, no, that's why, like, it's funny, man. I was having this conversation with Alejandro last night, because Alejandro put out like 2 or 3 pieces of content recently. I was like, "Bro, you haven't posted content in weeks." And the fact that you put 2 or 3 out caught my attention. But why? Alejandro's actually running a business. Like, even myself, I'm like, dude, my content game has been weak. Why? Because I'm running a business. Sam Singh is, I thought you were a bot online for the longest time. Why? Because you're actually running a business.
That's so funny. Yeah, guys, if you guys didn't know, there's actually a story of Marlon and Daryl both thinking that I was either AI or a virtual assistant or someone who just actually did not exist for a long time, because I had 0 social media presence, but like I was busy running a business. The reality is this, guys, running adequate social media, and I'm talking to so many people who are crushing the game. I've talked to people like Pace Morby, to Ryan Pineda, to some of the best content producers in our industry specifically. And the reality is content production at quality, right? There's a lot of gurus who can tell you, hey, just get out the phone and start recording. That's only going to get you so far. I'm sorry. The marketplace of attention is a damn real thing. And the marketplace of attention doesn't like people who all they do is have shit quality production, shit quality editing, and they're recording on an iPhone 3 from 20 years ago. Doing content and editing right for it to actually gain traction based on the algorithm is not an easy thing to do. You need quality editing. You need content strategy that's actually really in-depth. And the only reason I know all this is because I'm investing heavily right now into it. Marlon knows about a program that I've invested in, quite a bit of money into it. And I'm actually going to invest a lot more. How much more? About $5,000 a month. That's just to get started. That's actually what it takes to do content right. So I want you guys to understand, if there are truly, and I'm gonna this is a generality, there's exceptions to this rule, but the reality is this: when you're following people on social media, you have to ask yourself, are they a content creator first, or are they a business operator first? And the problem in the real estate industry is it's really freaking easy to be a content creator first, just pushing content, talking about the deals that they have 1% involvement in, right? Like I talked to my TC about this. I'm like, how many deals are you doing? And they're like, well, I've got like 80 contracts like per month coming in. I'm like, damn, 80 contracts per month. Man, you could go and tell everyone that you're doing 80 deals a month and you can sell whatever the heck you want and then and be good to go. But your involvement in that is transaction coordination, which is not extremely high. Truly, I'm sorry. It's not the highest value of things out there. And my TC obviously is ethical and doesn't do that. The problem is there are people who do just that. They do not have fully functioning businesses. They have no SOPs. They have no predictability. They are fly-by-night wholesalers, as one of my mentors, Tiffany, likes to say. Their businesses will disappear tomorrow during a bad day. And the problem is these same people are putting out 50 reels a week talking about how many freaking deals they do. And the problem is all of them, and there's nothing wrong with this, we're all building towards something. The dangerous thing is this, guys. A lot of those guys, remember, real estate and business is not actually their business. Social media is their business. Social media is a lead driver for them. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. Just know they're building towards something. And eventually the course will come. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? And this is where I think it's really important I want everyone to catch what Sam is saying. Because Sam's not saying that there's inherently anything wrong. So if you've been posting social media content, please don't feel like, oh man, Sam is yelling at me right now because I made an Instagram reel yesterday, but I don't have a 7-figure business. That is not what he's saying. What he's letting you know is be aware of what is the intention behind a person's content production. When I look at a Pace Morby and you see the content he's putting out, what is his intention? It's very obvious to see that he wants to inform people on this way of doing deals so that they can then come in and do deals with him. He wants to partner. He wants to make more friends, but he wants his friends to be friends of value. So he's like, you know what? I want higher level friends. Let me educate the public so that they can now become my friends so we can do deals together. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Why do I know this? Because he's actually gotten on social media and shared his intention. However, if I ask you what's the intention of that guru you've been following and you can't tell me, but there's a course at the end of it, you don't actually know what it is they want to do, how they want to serve you. And Alex Hormozi, you brought up Alex's name earlier, Sam, and you mentioned this, and I think it's worth re-mentioning. The fact that if a person actually wants to help you, they're going to help you with their free content. Their free content will actually serve and solve a problem that you have now. And it's their way of actually proving that they want to serve and help you. And this is really, really important to know. Because if the person is only willing to help you, even the first time around through a paywall, that person's not actually wanting to help you. That person is wanting to help themselves. And you have to think about this like when you go to the mall and you get free samples. Right? Like they give you a sample of the food first so you can know, okay, there's value here. There's good flavor here. This is good food here. But if they're looking at you and saying like, we're not going to give you a sample first, you just have to trust us that it's really good. That's not necessarily the people you want to do business with. Good businesses understand that we actually need to give before we ever receive. So if when you're watching these people, they haven't given you true value, and let's define true value. This is actually how I'm currently defining true value. Sam and I talked about this last night. It's me being able to go on my phone and go to your free content, go to your YouTube, go to your Instagram, take any random clip, and I should be able to work with your random clip and produce a tangible ROI in my business or in my life. If I cannot find a random clip on your page that produces a result in my life, and by the way, let me say this. When he and I talked about this made me reflect on my own content that I've been putting out, and it made me realize I need to do a better job. I need the standard that I'm holding the people that I would hand over money to is not the same standard that I've been holding myself up to as of yet. And so recognize this about the people that you're following. What I love is if I go to Jamil's page, I'm going to be able to get value there. If I go to Alex Hormozi's page, I'm going to get value there. Right? When I go on to these people who are actually doing the things that they're teaching and sharing, I get value. Tangible, pause that video, do what they said in the video, my life improves kind of value. Value that I would pay for that I'm getting for free. So when they do have a product offering, when they do have a course, there's no question in my mind that I will receive more value. So I just want to reiterate that, man, because again, it's a scary time right now where we're transitioning in the marketplace as a whole, our economy as a whole, our society as a whole, if people haven't realized, has transitioned from the industrial age to the age of information. We've been in the age of information since the early 2000s. This is a fun fact, right? A lot of people don't know I geek out on this kind of stuff. We actually transitioned into the age of information back in the early 2000s when the internet became very prevalent. However, there's always a lag time when ages shift from industry to industry, from thing to thing. There's a lag time for society as a whole to catch up. Early investors, early adopters like us, we will catch it a little bit sooner. That's why we are entrepreneurs. We see the opportunities before mainstream catches it. With the pandemic and the world shutting down and everyone being locked in at home and forced on their screens, we sped up the process. So we probably shortened about a decade's worth of transition time. And so that's why things are speeding up so quickly. What this means is a lot of our products are now digital products. They're no longer the old tangible, physical brick and mortar products. And a lot of our products that we're going to see in the marketplace coming soon are going to be so much more digital, so much more software, so much more information based. So you're going to need to get better at vetting the new marketplace if you want to protect your dollar. If you want to make sure that the dollar you spend comes back to you 5, 10, 20x, you now need to become a better disciple of discerning where to spend that money, where to put that money. We need to turn you into better, more well-informed, quite frankly, consumers, so that you can be producers at an even higher level. Because the point of your consumption is to go back into the world and produce to create a greater return. Please remember that, y'all. That is what separates you from the left side to the right side of the quadrant, from the 95% of the mediocre many to the 5% that have a life full of fulfillment. So I'm going to pass this back over to Sam. I start preaching when I go.
This is so good. I mean, Caroline Kane's right. I mean, like, talk about preaching. I mean, she's saying it. We're absolutely preaching here, guys. This is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about because, one, it's a little bit of like a hairy topic.
Who we got?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what up, what up, Jono? You're on the Think Big podcast, bro. You're a first-time caller, long-time listener, first-time caller. Yo, Jonah, can you hear us?
Hey, my guy, I can barely hear you.
Bro, dude, you're on the Think Big podcast right now. What do you want to say to the world?
Oh, am I? What's up? Okay. Well, I was just gonna talk to you. I mean, I don't know if this isn't a crazy long conversation, but I was curious. I've got a challenge I'm doing next week, and I wanted to announce it to the Sub2 community. I know you're doing it daily now tomorrow. I could announce it on your podcast too if you guys have a moment. I don't know what you guys are doing right now.
Yo, you're on the podcast. Should we have Jonah come on? And actually, I actually know what this challenge is. I think this would be kind of cool to announce and actually showcase on him because Jonah's gonna free challenge. You guys want to announce Jonah's free challenge? Have him come up and share about that.
I'll let him do it in the spirit of being about what we say we're about. I'll say yes, as long as he shares what his honest intention is with the challenge.
Ooh, you heard that, Jonah? You got to share what
to get more followers and make hella money, obviously.
There you go.
Jonah, I'm going to send you the link. This is going to be fun. So, guys, by the way, just so everyone knows, that phone call was not planned, but I actually know what Jonah is going to come on here and talk about because in the spirit of being people that actually do what we're talking about, Jonah is on a mission right now to show what an actual business looks like, and he's going to be doing a challenge where for a week straight, I'm talking 8 hours per day, it is going to be a live camera set up as he actually just runs his business. Like he's literally just going to be there going through his meetings, going through his leadership calls, training his team, making the calls, transacting the deals. Like Jonah just stayed at my house for the last week. He was over here, And in that week that he was here, he did another over $90,000 of transactions in that week. So Jonah's one of my friends, and the reason he's one of my friends is a multitude of reasons. Like, he's a cool dude, but he also does what he talks about, right? Like, he lives that life. And what I love about him, he doesn't pretend to be something else. He will call me and openly say, hey, this is where I'm screwing up and this is what I need help in. And hey, this is what's happening. This is what's working well. So that's why, I'm vetting for Jonah right now. So if any of you ever get like screwed over by Jonah, my bad, but I just don't ever see that happening. He's just a solid freaking dude. So I'm going to send him the link. But yeah, Sam had a note. Sam's like, bro, why do we let you answer the call?
He says, my bad. Marlon wants to make sure he's out of that. Any future on unfortunate situations. I like that.
Nah, man. I never bring people onto like the social media platform unless they are somebody that I truly have a relationship with and actually trust. Like, I've recorded podcasts offline. Sam knows this. Sam and I have done this as well. We've recorded podcasts online that, quite frankly, will never see the light of day because after I got to know who I was talking to, I decided that this person is not anyone I ever want to be associated with, and I never want to take the fault for sending somebody to that particular person. I'm not going to say any names, but some of these people are people that others know. Like, these people already have some level of notoriety, and I was like, I got to know them. I have a gut feeling. I trust my gut heavily. Shout out to Matt Higgins and the book Burn the Boats, by the way, because in that book he talks about this, trusting your gut feeling. And I trust my gut feeling. I operate with my gut. And when my gut tells me someone's bad news, that's it. You're bad news. You're bad news. So,
Sam, Marlon, can I ask you a question? Just for those like out there, right? Because I mean, I'm pretty sure Sam and I we look up to you when it comes to like mindset and energy. What about those? What all of those people that you interviewed or got on a podcast with you? What did they all have in common that made you like, this is probably not going to see the light of day?
Great question. So this is actually a really great question. And if I'm going to give everyone right now the permission to use this, if you are a person that gets intuitive feelings, right? If you get feelings, like Sam's good about this, this is why Sam and I got along. Like, when we go out to speaking gigs, like when we're on stage and we're meeting people in the audience, we get feels about certain people. And even though their resume might be so stacked in the positive, we just get a feeling about them. And then later on, some piece of evidence will come out 2, 3, 4, 5 months later that really validate the feeling that we got in that moment, that we had no logical evidence of, but it was just a gut feeling. And so for me, Alejandro, if I had to put it to words, ultimately what it is I feel that their intention isn't in alignment with my core values. And if I feel like their intentions don't line up with the core values that I promote, that I stand by, then unfortunately, I just do not take the risk of promoting them and really putting them on a platform. Yeah. All right. And then Caroline said, if Jonah rips me off, if Jonah rips anybody off, I will personally use Samsung's bank accounts to refund you, because like Samsung is my personal sugar daddy. So I will absolutely refund everyone courtesy of the Bank of Satan. So
I love this. But let's welcome our homie Jonah. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys? Thank you guys for having me on. That was really funny that you answered the phone during the podcast, Marlon. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I'll just quickly talk about this challenge. I don't want to like derail the podcast. You guys are incredibly gracious hosts. You guys have had me on at least like 4 times, I feel like, at this point, just because we're homies, and I don't want to take up more time than you guys want me on here. Next week, I am going to be putting myself as an acquisition manager in my business again. So I'm going to be an acquisition manager for my business for an entire week. And then you guys are going to have like a free Zoom where you guys can see how I close deals, see how I run my company, see how I do meditation, affirmations, how I do my meetings, how I schedule out the days for my employees, how I treat them, how you actually create and run a business that's doing like 85 to 100K a month. So I just I'm trying to promote the hell out of that. I have COVID right now, so that's probably why I sound a little terrible. But yeah, and then Sam wanted me to tell the true motivations. My true motivations basically is a couple things. So when you grow your social media, I learned this at a conference recently. I don't know why it's not letting me comment the link. I might send you guys the link in the private chat. That's the link to the challenge. But I learned this in a conference recently. But where people sell stuff through their social media the most is the email list, right? That's where you sell the most stuff. That's where you promote the most stuff. That's where you raise the most private money. That's where everything actually converts from all the Instagram you're doing, all the YouTube you're doing. The final place is the email list. So my true motivations is A, I do want to help you guys out. I want you guys to see it. But B, I want to be collecting emails so that I'm able to promote myself, everything I'm offering you guys that's free, anything that I'm offering that's paid, but basically growing that email list, because that email list can be worth, if you create a really good one, like if you had Pace Morby's email list, that thing is worth tens of millions of dollars, right? So that's the true motivation behind it. And I want you guys to know, and that was a really good question though, Sam, because that's how you want to be. People don't talk about that. People always like, it's always, it is, I want to help you guys too. But also, I want to be leading and growing my empire with you guys as well.
I have a question, Jonah. At that conference, did you learn like how many emails per sale, I guess, in your product it would take? I love to understand those KPIs because it gives me a more clear goal to set whenever it comes to certain, because that's something I'm working on as well. So I would love to be selfish and take some of that information you paid for.
Honestly, no. I don't remember the KPIs. What I'll do right now is I'll message my integrator who was also there, who probably paid attention to those types of conferences. It was an AI conference as well, and that was It was crazy. It was like the Go High Level conference. Let me send him a message real quick and see if he
that would be dope, man.
So
yeah,
what
I don't know how any of that stuff works. So I'm sorry, Marlon. Go ahead.
So what I like about this, just for the audience, and the reason, by the way, because you guys have seen, like, we don't really bring people up here to like promote their stuff, unless I think it's actually valuable. What I think is cool about what Jonah is doing is it's very much following in alignment with one of our mentors done. So by the way, everyone knows Jonah is a part of Jamil's community. He's a leader inside Jamil's community. He's a leader inside of Pace's Sub 2 community. He's a leader inside of Brent Daniels' TTP community. And what I love is Jonah is actually filling in a spot that our community leaders, that the Brent Daniels, Jamils, and Pace, that they had made and created when they were building up their programs, right? Pace used to come on and Pace would do this kind of stuff. Pace would do 8 hours of seller calls live. And that's how a lot of us learned. We watched our mentor actually do the business in real time. Jamil would do the same thing for his people. He'd call agents live. Brent still to this day will get on and cold call live for his people. And so as our mentors continued to grow and they moved on to new endeavors, because they themselves are also on a journey. And I want people to remember that. Your mentors are still people who are also growing on their own journey. It opened up and it freed up a space for someone else to come in and ultimately provide that value. And so Jonah has been taking it upon himself to provide that value, not at scale up until this point. At this point, you've been doing it really just kind of one-offs with people, making yourself available, jumping into their rooms and things of that nature. But now you're going and you're doing it from a one-to-many standpoint, really opening it up to the public, which I absolutely love. And I love that you're sharing the fact that, like, hey, guys, like, as you do this, right, in return for the value I'm giving, I'm asking not for your money. Not right now. I'm asking for your email and your eyeballs and your attention and your feedback, which is huge. And this is coming back to Sam's point as earlier. It's just setting the intention. Because if anyone's like me, I absolutely hate when someone tells me I got nothing to sell you. And then they start selling me something. I'm like, bro, what are you like? This is the fastest way for me to hate your guts forever. And so I love when we're just transparent. Hey, like, I do this all the time. I let people know, like, hey, guys, like, I'm going to be doing this. And in exchange, this is what I want from you. And I let them know so they don't have to guess, what is he trying to get from me? I'm going to tell you so that you can make an educated choice on whether or not you want to come and do anything with me. because Alex Hormozy does this all the time. He'll say, hey, guys, I have nothing to sell you right now, right? He'll literally say this. He's like, the person I'm looking for needs to be making $3 to $10 million, and none of you are there yet. So I want to sell that person on partnering with me. But in order for that person to trust me, I need to help you become that person. So if I can help turn you into a person who makes $3 to $10 million, will you come and have a conversation with me afterwards about being a partner? That's Alex Hormozy's sale. And he's upfront about that. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. However, repetition is the mother of mastery. That's why I repeat myself so much when I talk. So, Jonah, dude, this is going to be fun. When's it happening?
Next week, 9:30 a.m. MST to 6 p.m. MST. Just to go off of that, guys, by the way, like, you don't have to buy anything that I'm selling you. Get the free value. You're going to see my entire business for free. The real stuff, that stuff that's worth a lot of money, is going to be given out for free, which is also like, that's the PACE method. That's the Hormozy method, is give the good stuff away for free. And then at the very end, like, start asking for the ass. It's like the jab, jab, cross. It's that's a Gary Vee book, right? So it's going to be 9:30 a.m. MST to 6 p.m. MST all next week. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. If you live in Denver too, I'm throwing a meetup that I'm not going to because I right now have COVID, but there is a meetup happening in Denver. So you can DM me on my Instagram if you guys want details for that. But
I just signed up, bro. I'll see you there.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
And guys, if you get value from Jonah, as a thank you for us introducing you to him, what I expect is burritos delivered to Sam, Alejandro, and myself. I like to have celebratory burritos if Jonah makes you like $100,000 a year or something.
Yeah. If you guys do a deal and you came here from this podcast, I'll give a third of my assignment fee to each of these boys. Split a third. You guys get on split between you guys. But you have to tell me, because otherwise I won't remember. So
Jonah's gonna do the smallest assignment of his life. He's gonna get like a $500 assignment.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Anyways, but yeah, no, I appreciate you boys.
Market. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Love you, dog. Heal up. Feel better.
Awesome, dude. We love Jonah Corchin. He's phenomenal. Real quick, I just got this text from Kelly Hano. Caroline, are you going to be in Ohio next month? Is Caroline going to Ohio?
Yeah, I was just talking to her about that last night.
For a 2-day.
Yep. For small group. Yep.
Oh, Caroline, you should have talked to me. You should have come to Killer KPIs this weekend. So we've got about a couple minutes left. Is it cool for me to actually make the announcement that I was going to make for Killer KPIs? Amazing. Guys, it's funny. We're talking about people who are using platforms to push things. And so it is effectively my time to push some shit. But it's really good stuff. And I'm actually obsessed with how abundantly clear can I make it that I am not going to profit on this. So this is what I'm doing. Everyone here who is on the newer side, you're going to get deals. You're going to make money. And there will be a critical point in your business journey where you want to do this thing called scale. The problem is you can't scale. And the number one reason, especially for my visionaries, is you lack this thing called clarity. And you don't have the clarity because you don't track these things called your KPIs. Now, your KPIs, I think it's a 3-letter acronym that is the bane of existence for all visionaries, including myself. And so in essence, I got into the industry. I learned how to do a ton of deals. I got into the industry. I learned how to do a ton of deals. I started making money. But what I didn't have is I didn't have predictability. And when I didn't have predictability, I had to go and spend an obscene amount of money out of pocket to go get a business coach. And this business coach, right, I spend $50,000 a year with. Like, that's a lot of freaking money, right? And the first thing they exposed when I looked into my business is I can't predictably scale my business, and I can't remove myself from my business because I didn't have any data. I didn't have any KPIs. So we went to work. We started tracking everything imaginable. And guys, I have spent obscene amounts of money in every form of marketing that you can think of. Actually, I haven't done TV, I haven't done a billboard, and I haven't done radio yet. that'll come. But for the rest of the things, I've done so much. In some of those things, I've spent over 6 figures in already. And I'm only 2 years into the game. We started tracking everything. We became beasts at tracking all of it. And then I had predictability in my business because when I hired, I knew what success looked like. I knew how to hold people accountable. And KPIs, things that nobody talks about because they're not sexy, but the reality is you want to scale, you want to make a bunch of money, you want to be worth 50 million, 100 million, a billion, you have to become obsessed with KPIs. So this Saturday at noon PST, we're probably going to go for 4 to 5 hours. I am going to go through and I'm going to break down all the KPIs in my business, all the KPIs that you need to make a 6-figure month in cold call, in texting, in PPC, in Facebook ads, in direct to agent, in JV, in a bunch of different things. And I'm even going to showcase what KPIs are going to help me scale to sell a business at an extremely high valuation. And these are things that I've had to pay a ton of money and get around basically billionaires for. So it is completely for free. You have to sign up. I even tell you on my sign up link that by signing up, you are saying yes to me emailing you and texting you with annoying crap that I'm going to do in the future. I'm very clear about that. We're going to do more webinars. We're going to do more Zooms. We're going to do a bunch of cool things. And here's my one promise. Marlon knows this, and I stand by this. And I'm saying it publicly on Google essentially right now forever. I will not charge for any information ever. So to put things even further and to give more value, right? Because I'm just like Jonah, I'm going to be collecting emails. I'm going to be collecting phone numbers. So when I do other things, more people show up because I don't want to do something epic, give away so much value and have 10 people there. You want hundreds, you want thousands, right? So in order to incentivize you all, I believe that people need blueprints because they don't have them because people gatekeep them. So one of my mentors who I spend an obscene amount of money with, who is, in my opinion, the best in the freaking game at KPIs and systems and processes, I have basically gotten them to agree to sell their entry-level product, which is an amazing blueprint. It's worth about $2,500. They're going to sell it at about 1/50th the price for that day. And then now people will be like, Sam, you're going to make affiliate money on this, even though it's probably going to cost about $100 each. Cool. What's an average affiliate on a $100 product? 10, 20%, right? And then normally if I have 100 people in the call, probably only about 10% are actually going to buy the thing. So you can argue that Sam, through affiliate money, you might make $100 that day, 200, 300, even 400. Here's what I'm going to do.
Sam, what are you going to do with retirement money?
Oh, exactly. But here's the thing, guys. One, I'm actually not going to make affiliate money. And here's how I'm going to prove it. I'm going to, out of my own pocket, spend up to $1,000 on the course material for the people there. So I think that's going to cover probably about 10 people. I'm actually going to pay out of pocket myself for y'all to go, for you to get the masterclass that you need to level up your business. After I've given you a 3, 4, 5 hour masterclass on KPIs, I'm going to then hand you off to one of my most important mentors, and I'm going to cover your ticket at the door out of pocket. I will lose money doing this. I will actually lose $1,000 doing this. And the only thing I want is to basically have everybody's emails and everybody's phone numbers so that when I do it again in a month or 2 months, or I do my next big masterclass, like Marketing Secrets or like Quarter for the Quarter or Get Plugged In, we'll have even more people there. That is transparently all I'm doing. So if you want to be there, let me actually get you guys a link. If you guys, I know a lot of you guys are already signed up. If anyone isn't signed up, the link is right here. It's in the chat. It's on Zoom. If you are completely like you don't want to, I know you guys can't copy and paste that maybe through the screen, do this. Go to my Instagram. The link is in my bio. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to give it all away. It's an obscene amount of money goes into that. And just, I think to get all those KPIs that I've gotten, guys, it's probably cost me about $60,000 in just mentorship for me paying. I'm literally giving it all away for free. And on top of that, I'm going to pay for you guys to level up after you spend your time with me. So with that being said,
I go to Sam's Instagram, right? Because I like some people are visual. Some people are like me. They need to see exactly what they need to do, right? So I go to Arch Sam Singh, right? This is the VA from overseas, and I click on this.
It's a bot.
Once I click on that link, once I click on this link, it will take me to the actual page that I can get registered. Freaking love it.
Yep.
That easy.
Guys, do me a favor, share it with your friends. Because I'm telling you right now, I've paid courses in mentorship. I've paid $5,000 to $10,000 just for a course on KPIs and how to track them. And honestly, that shit sucked. So I've made it all better. I'm actually going to make it better than people's paid stuff. I'm going to give it away for free, and I'm going to pay you some money at the end of the day. That is my open, honest bribe to all of you. And you guys may be wondering, okay, what the hell? What's he doing? Is he going to sell us something down the road with our emails? No. Actually, no. Marlon knows what I'm building towards. I can't announce it yet. I'm going to announce it at the beginning of the year in Q1. I'm going to be doing something massively special. I am basically going to build an amazing... I can't say it. Just say I'll say this. I'm going to build something amazing that is inspired by people like Marlon, by people like Alejandro, people, honestly, the most like Hermosi. We're going to do something massively special. It's going to cost me a ton of money, and I will never charge a dime for it. And I swear to you, it will change thousands of lives. So help me do that. That's it.
I love that. And guys, I'm going to say one last thing while y'all are getting registered. And guys, go get registered right now. Like while you're listening to this podcast, don't put this off for later. Go and click the link right now, because sometimes it's easy to put it off for later to be well-intentioned and you think you're going to come back to it and you just forget. So if you're driving, pull over right now, click the link, because here's what's cool. My superpower in life is finding amazing people and bringing them into my world and letting them change and level me up. That's my superpower. That's really what I think I'm good at. And Sam is one of those people. And the more I gotten to know him, the more he and I talk, the more I learn about the intentions behind his actions. I can honestly tell you the way that he's operating is unusual for this time and day and age. And it will become the standard if anyone has a prayer in the future of being successful and doing it in a holistic way that's sustainable, that 10 years down the road, people will literally be blueprint the way Sam thinks about bringing value to other people and to the marketplace. So truly, when I say this is a person that if you're getting a feeling about Sam, like, man, like there's something about this dude, trust that gut and follow that feeling, because that gut feeling is what's led me to the life I have right now, and putting myself around people like Sam, like Alejandro, like Pace, like Pips, like all the amazing people in my life who have changed it. So do yourself that favor, go to the Instagram page right now, register, be there, and share this with anybody, literally anybody that is doing real estate, that is wanting to grow a business, that is serious about wanting to grow a business. You are doing them a disservice if you don't share this. If you think it's going to be valuable for you and your mindset is, let me hide this to myself, I'm already telling you, we've got to shift that. If you can start because Sam could do that. Sam can literally say, you know what, screw everybody. I've got this cheat code, and just go back in. In fact, Sam loses money by doing these podcasts. Sam loses money by coming and like spending time with us, because he can just be sitting inside his cave and working. But for him, that's not the sort of life he wants to create. He doesn't want to. What good is being at the top if you're there by yourself? So as you build for yourselves, and you think this is going to be valuable for you and your business, you have a moral responsibility to share this with other people. In fact, final quick little segment. Did y'all know that the only reason I got into Sub 2 was because of Will Ayarza calling me nonstop, relentlessly one Friday night, telling me that I needed to go and watch this dude named Pace? Like, he would not let me know about it. And I was actually telling him, like, no, I don't need that. And he was so relentless with, no, dude, you've shared your dreams with me. You've shared your vision with me. You told me where you want to go and why it's so important for you to get there. And this is going to be valuable for you because it's so valuable to me. And that conversation, that phone call that night has changed the trajectory of my life, because Will was persistent and shared. So please, make sure that you share this. I already know that everyone listening has already registered, but I need you to spread the word. I want that Zoom call packed out. Absolutely packed out. So, Sam, Freaking love what you're doing, bro.
Dude, thank you. Guys, y'all have dues to pay. Jonah Corchin's going to do some amazing shit for y'all next week. I'm going to do some insane stuff this weekend. I'm actually going to lose $1,000 doing it. And the reason why is because we understand the value of the infinite long game, and that's what we're building towards. I understand it. Marlon does. Alejandro does. And if you're following us, you probably do too. So if you appreciate the long game, if you appreciate what we're doing, all we ask is don't just share the Zoom, share the podcast. We're finding our people. We're finding our tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Well, that's why you guys are here. So if you haven't already, subscribe to Marlon's YouTube, subscribe to Alejandro, subscribe to mine. I know what each of these boys are cooking up behind the scenes, and holy shit. Guys, I think it's safe to say we're probably going to put dozens of gurus out of business as we come up. And it's going to be beautiful to see. If you resonate with it, help us out. Love y'all. Peace.